Across the sands of Libya, a familiar name has returned, and the world can't stop talking about it. The country everyone thought was permanently stuck between chaos and nostalgia just got hit with a political shockwave. Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, the son of the late Muammar Gaddafi, has reappeared. And this time it's not a rumor. From African networks to Middle Eastern outlets, reports are confirming what many thought impossible. 14 years after his father's fall, the man once branded a fugitive is stepping back into the light, not as a shadow but as a contender. And the timing couldn't be more explosive. Libya is divided. Foreign powers are still pulling strings, people are exhausted, and suddenly the Gaddafi name, that name that once inspired both fear and respect, is echoing again across the desert. Could Libya, under the legacy of its most controversial leader, actually find unity again? Or is this just history repeating itself in a new disguise? Nobody saw this coming. For more than a decade, Libya has existed in limbo. Governments rise and collapse faster than people can remember their names. Foreign envoys promise peace, militias promise protection, citizens get neither. And now suddenly, a familiar face steps back into the frame. The older generation. The Gaddafi era wasn't just politics. It was personal. It was the time when salaries were predictable, fuel was cheap, education was free, and hospitals worked. For younger Libyans, it's something between myth and memory, a story told with both pride and resentment. So when Saif al-Islam reappears, saying let's rebuild Libya on our own terms, the reaction splits down the middle: disbelief, hope, suspicion, even a strange kind of longing. And maybe that's what scares outsiders the most, because this isn't just about one man's comeback, it's about a nation realizing it still has emotional muscle left. After years of Western interference dressed up as stabilization, Libyans have learned that imported democracy without dignity feels like another occupation. So when Saif talks about sovereignty, about unity without supervision, the words hit differently. They sound less like ideology, and more like exhaustion turned into ambition. Across coffee shops and markets, people whisper the same thought. At least back then we knew who was in charge. It's not praise, it's fatigue. Because after a decade of chaos, predictability starts to sound like peace. But Saif's return isn't random. It feels planned, quiet, deliberate, and intentional. History, it seems, is rebooting. Across Africa right now, there's a new current of defiance. From Bamako to Ouagadougou, from Niamey to Tripoli, countries once paralyzed by foreign partnerships are choosing independence. That they're walking away from Western control, defining their own defense, their own policies, their own allies. And Libya, once the confident gateway of North Africa, is looking at this continental awakening and thinking that used to be us. You can almost hear it in Saif's message. Let's bring Libya back to Africa, not back to the West. Reports since late 2024 suggest he's been moving quietly, meeting tribal elders in the south, visiting old networks, rebuilding relationships that once held Libya together. Not in foreign hotels or embassies, but in tents, on carpets, face to face with the same people who built Libya from the ground up. No revenge, just rebuilding. That's not Western politics, that's old-school African politics. And it works differently. It's relational, emotional, spiritual. If you can win back the tribes, you can rebuild the country faster than any election ever could. And Saif seems to understand that perfectly. While the West measures legitimacy through ballots, Libya still measures it through loyalty. The timing couldn't be better either, because Western credibility in Libya is gone. Every stabilization mission since 2011 has failed. So when someone shows up promising order without occupation, people start to listen. It's not blind faith, it's exhaustion, and exhaustion in politics can be powerful because tired people don't need a perfect leader, they just need one who sounds certain. Still, this comeback is more than nostalgia, it's strategy. Saif isn't promising to resurrect his father's Libya, he's promising to evolve it. He borrows the Green era's pride, but packages it in the language of Pan-Africanism and sovereignty. Across Africa, Gaddafi's legacy, love him or hate him, still symbolizes independence. And Saif is tapping directly into that energy. Of course, this comeback doesn't happen in a vacuum. Someone is backing him, maybe tribal leaders, ex-officers, or even sympathetic governments in the Sahel. Together, they're rebuilding a network, quietly, piece by piece. So the question becomes, what's his endgame? Redemption, power, or revenge? For many Libyans, Saif's return isn't just political, it's moral. It forces them to confront memory, loyalty, guilt. He's not just a man, he's a symbol of unfinished history. But make no mistake, He still carries heavy baggage. He's wanted by the International Criminal Court. That he's been sentenced to death by a Libyan court. On paper, he's a fugitive. But in today's Libya, where laws are written by whoever controls the street, paper doesn't mean much, and the ICC. To many Africans, it's not justice. It's hypocrisy that they've watched the same nations that bombed Libya lecture them about morality. So when The Hague points a finger at Saif, many shrug and say, the same people who destroyed our country want to judge us now? That's not blind support, it's rebellion against double standards. And it's working, because Saif's name taps into something deep, a longing for a time when Libya worked, when people had structure and pride. After so much trauma, people stop asking who's guilty and start asking who can fix this. Saif's allies know this. They speak of Libyan solutions and African reconciliation. They're pushing the idea that real justice isn't about punishment anymore. It's about rebuilding what was lost. But forgiveness without truth is fragile. If Saif builds his comeback purely on nostalgia, it could crumble fast. If he builds it on accountability, it might never get off the ground. He has to walk a razor's edge between redemption and survival. Libya today isn't a country. It's a maze. Two rival governments, dozens of militias, foreign powers playing chess with people's lives. To survive that and say, I can fix it, takes more than confidence. It takes calculation. And that's exactly what Saif is doing. He's not storming capitals, he's rebuilding relationships. He's betting that the old tribal fabric can still hold the nation together. He's talking less and listening more. And in Libya, that's power. But what's making his comeback especially powerful is his alignment with Africa's new wave of sovereignty. While the West sees Libya as a failed state, Africa sees it as a wounded lion. And Saif is positioning himself among the lions, alongside Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, countries defying foreign control. His narrative is clear. They destroyed my father because he wanted Africa united. They destroyed Libya because it was independent. But Africa is rising again, and Libya will rise with it. It's emotional, political, and strategic, and it resonates. Because today, Africa isn't begging for approval anymore. It's reclaiming its dignity. Still, the road ahead is brutal. Western powers won't sit quietly while a Gaddafi rebuilds Libya. Sanctions, propaganda, sabotage. It's all coming, and inside the country, militias won't surrender their power easily either. But Saif's greatest ally might be something no one planned for. Exhaustion. People are too tired to fight, too broke to resist, too desperate to care who leads, as long as they lead well. And that's where the story gets bigger than Libya. Because if Saif al-Islam succeeds even halfway, it won't just change one nation. It could change Africa's entire narrative. When Muammar Gaddafi ruled, Libya wasn't just a state, it was a statement. He funded universities, satellites, and the dream of a single African currency backed by gold. The West feared that vision and crushed it. Now, 14 years later, his son stands on the same soil, looking at a continent rediscovering the same dream. Unity without permission. Imagine a Libya that trades directly with its neighbors, that controls its own oil, that reinvests in African-led development instead of IMF loans. That's not nostalgia, that's sovereignty reborn. Because Africa's bond with Libya wasn't just political, it was spiritual. During the Gaddafi years, African students studied in Tripoli for free, refugees found work, and continental roads connected north to south. That ambition vanished when Libya fell. And ever since, Africa has walked like a continent missing a limb. Saif's reappearance feels like that limb twitching again, like the continent remembering it can still move. But if this revival is to mean anything, it can't be about one man. It has to be collective, a shared rebirth, not a one-man resurrection. And that's starting to happen. From Mali to Niger, African nations are rejecting dependency and rewriting what sovereignty means in the 21st century. Maybe Libya's story is Africa's mirror, a reminder that the fall wasn't failure, it was rehearsal. A rehearsal for self-respect, for unity, for the day Africa decides to stand up without waiting for permission. The question now is simple but heavy. If Libya truly rises again, will the world let it? Or will they try to destroy it all over again? Because right now, Libya stands perfectly still between what it was and what it could become. The desert is holding its breath, and the world is watching. Is this just one man's return, or is this Africa quietly, defiantly standing up again?